Okay, welcome to Kathmandu. We're going to be flying this morning to Lukla, which is a freaky little airport on the side of very close to Mount Everest. It's a common fly-in point for people that are going to be going to the top of Mount Everest. Mount Everest is a rather tall mountain. You might have heard of it, and we'll be able to see that from the airport. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to let the automation take care of that. Let's go ahead and get the center screen set up the way I want. Weather. Get some panel lights going so I can see what I'm doing. The fuel auto select switched on here, and autopilot. And then down here we want to turn on pitot heat. Really don't like these big labels, but part of the deal. Okay, so we should be good to go as far as the checklist. We just have to park and brake, which is still on. Okay. Do I have anybody on either side? No. Cool. All right, so it's about a 30-minute flight. I'm not sure what the weather's like. We'll probably climb through the clouds. I'm going to just go VFR, even though it's probably going to border on IFR. But let's go ahead and get the tower going so we can get out of here.
Kathmandu Airport information, Oscar 2300 Zulu. Wind 050 at tree. Visibility 5.
Okay, altimeter set. We're going to be doing a
Kathmandu
east
ground
departure.
Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima request taxi for departure to the east with Oscar.
Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima taxi 2 and hold short of runway 02 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Taxi 2 and hold short runway 02 using taxiway Alpha Daher Victor 1 Lima.
Okay, so we're not going to need the whole runway, so we are going to take off where the taxiway leaves us. If you want the whole runway, you do have to turn around. Let's go ahead and start taxiing out. Not to hit this little van here, which conveniently stopped right in the way. Let's see, we do need to go this way. Yeah, close enough. Okay, so we're going to taxi down this direction. Right now we're going the opposite of 020, which is 200, which means we're on the right track already. That's a good thing. Taxiing always feels too slow. Like here you are in a multi-million-dollar hot rod, and you have to cruise along at a very slow pace, but these things aren't really built for the ground. So we're going to go a little bit further up here, and why this airport has sticks in the middle, I don't know. They did the best they could, I guess. this is really all we need. I'm going to go ahead and turn here. Contact the tower.
Kathmandu Tower Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima ready for east departure at runway 02.
Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima altimeter 29.9 for wind 050 at tree. East departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 02.
Okay, so I've already got the altitude set and the heading set
Daher Victor 1 Lima.
for the autopilot to follow. So I've got a heading set of 020. I've got a 15,000 foot altitude just to make sure we clear the mountains involved. I think we might need to go to 17,000, but for the moment we'll go for 15. And we are cleared, and so let's go ahead and get out of here. First notch of flaps out. Okay, let's go. Positive rate of climb, gear up, got speed, flaps up. Get the autopilot keeping us on heading. Dial in 2,000 feet a minute.
Daher Victor 1 Lima continue for east departure.
Kathmandu Tower Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima continue for east departure.
Let's go ahead and turn on our course. We are on our way. Pull the engine back a bit to keep from overcooking the engine. Turn our taxi lights off. Get close, you can already see a slight glow on the horizon.
Tower Yeti Airlines 8901 at runway 02 ready for departure IFR to Baraha. Daher Victor 1 Lima leaving my airspace frequency change approved. Yeti Airlines 8901 altimeter 29.9 for wind 050 at tree. Cleared for takeoff runway 02.
Kathmandu Tower Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima frequency change. Kathmandu approach Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima is type Daher TBM 9 4 miles east of Kathmandu 7,500 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Daher Yankee Victor 1 Lima Kathmandu approach. Squawk 1556.
Squawk 1556 Daher Victor 1 Lima.
Daher Victor 1 Lima radar contact 6 miles east of Kathmandu 8,300 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain on navigation.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace Daher Victor 1 Lima.
Okay, so that's the last of our significant communications. When they hand us off, I'll just kill that entirely. You can see the glow of the sunset, or the sunrise in this case, coming up. So I'm going to close this. And there's our sun coming up over the horizon. Is there any traffic around? Nope. Any weather to worry about? Nope. Alright, so we can go to the map. that's our course. Just going to go more or less straight there. When we get within about 15-20 miles, I'm going to turn a bit to the southeast, and that's to get into this valley. This light area here to the right of the airport is a valley leading up to the airport, and we need to get beyond this last ridge line, and then we can descend into the valley, which will take us down to the airport, which is the landing portion is about 9,000 feet. The trick is not hitting the mountains. There's always a catch. I overshot my course, so let's come back to it.
Dollar Victor 1 Lima contact Kathmandu Center on 124.7. Good day.
124.7 for Daher, Victor 1 Lima.
Okay, we're done with comms. We're at 12,800. Speed's good. We'll be leveling off here in another 2,000 feet. We're almost on our course line, which is, With GPS these days, it's not that big a deal. As long as you're paying attention to the terrain, which we're well above at this point for this particular vicinity. Let's go ahead and turn on nav mode. And that'll track the course line. So we should see it turn. There we go. So one thing with autopilots, and this is true for aircraft, it's true for cars, whatever you've got an automatic system managing, you still need to watch it. You still need to know what it's supposed to be doing, and if it doesn't do it, you need to take over. So, like whether it's a Tesla with full automatic drive, whether it's an airplane, whether it's a 747 or a Cessna, the pilot still has to pay attention to what the airplane is doing. And while that sounds obvious, a lot of times we put a lot of faith into that technology because it doesn't fail often, but when it fails, it fails big. And so if you've tuned in a heading and it doesn't start turning, or if you're telling it to follow a course like this, especially when you've got a complex course where there's going to be lots of checkpoints, lots of waypoints, you should know what the autopilot is supposed to be doing. So if you were hand flying the course, for instance, you would know that a couple of miles before you get to the waypoint where you're going to be making a turn, you should start the turn so that you pick up the next leg. And if it doesn't start doing that, be ready to kill the autopilot and take over. So the same thing with altitude. As it approached altitude, the 15,000 foot had already been set, but if it had continued climbing, I'd have to kill the autopilot and level it off myself. There have been occasions where flight crews have been asleep or not paying attention, arguing, flirting with stewardess, whatever. And they have completely missed their city. And that's how that happens. They're not on top of the job. So, sometimes they're dead. That has also happened. But I guess the point is, there's always talk of this is going to eliminate drivers or this is going to eliminate pilots. And it's like, no, you still need the pilot in there. You still need the crew. Even though they're fallible, you'll still need the crew to watch over the automation. And there's several hundred passengers relying on that human crew to do their jobs. And when it's all automation, that introduces new problems. And it makes those people in the back just hapless victims waiting to be victimized. So anyway, I'll get off the soapbox for the moment. So let's see, how are we doing on progress here? So we're 45 miles out or so. Yep, 44 and a half. So Lukla, looking into it, and it's apparently a very busy little airport. That little town, there's no other way to get supplies in, and so many days of the week, it's as busy as 5 aircraft or an airplane every 5 minutes. Whether it's a helicopter or an airplane, something is coming and something is going every 5 minutes at peak hours. And there's not a lot of room to park aircraft. So they have to get in, load or unload whatever they're going to do, and get out quickly. And on top of that, there's no control tower. It is a daylight-only airport, good weather-only airport. So it's a VFR-only airport, but daytime. Only a couple of years ago, they added lights. So that's a new advancement for them. And while that doesn't really open it up to nighttime operations properly, it's better than nothing. So if it's overcast and it's darker than usual, it helps identify the airport better. It helps with the pilot perspective of seeing the runway and seeing the terrain that the runway's sitting on. And so it is definitely helpful. It is one of the most dangerous airports in the world because it is so weird. And anytime you've got mountains, you've got strange winds. The wind is just not, it doesn't work. There is never a headwind coming into this airport because there's a mountain blocking any potential headwind. So at best you've got crosswinds. Sometimes you'll have tailwinds, but most of the time you'll have crosswinds. And in the mountains, crosswinds can come racing down that valley pretty hard. There's the mountains over there. Mount Everest from this viewpoint is behind this pillar here. Bring up the drone camera or an external view and show more of that, I'm sure. It's pretty incredible that, and I can appreciate it. I mean, that's got to be a beautiful countryside to live in. As hard as it is to scrape a life out of that terrain, the environment down there is just got to be gorgeous. These amazing mountains in all directions. While we're on this cruise phase, I do want to ask, this is a brand new channel, so I would like to ask if you've got any input, if there's particular simulations you'd like to see, if there's games you'd like to see, if you want me to speak differently, that might be something we can arrange. If you want me to, well, I'll leave it up to you. We'll see where the comments go. But if the channel, what I'm looking for is, do you want more instructional? Do you want more real-world instruction? I'm not a flight instructor, but I am a licensed pilot, so I can give some advice in there. But if there is content that you would like to see, I want this channel to be useful to you. It needs to benefit the community in some fashion. If it's not beneficial to people, it really has no point in existing. So I definitely want it to be valuable to you. So whether it's educational or whether it's pure entertainment, I don't know. What is it you want? What is it you're looking for? I'll see what I can do. Alright, so we're coming closer here. Zoom in a bit. Alright, so we have another ridge to get past, and then I can start down. Alright, so when we're 15 miles out, I'm going to be turning to about 120. And once we get closer to this ridge, about where the arc is of the on the map there, once we get to where that is, I will start us into the valley, but I need to get past that ridge first, or we run into it, and that is unacceptable to the owner of the plane. It tends to bend things. Definitely earlier than I expected to be getting here. Oh well, we'll see how it works out. So we're 15 miles out. I'm going to go ahead and turn to 120. That'll help us get into the valley a bit. We don't have much in the way of a headwind or tailwind. Cutting it a bit close. But I can start down. Pull the power back. Because one thing we do need to do is lose a good bit of airspeed. Should see the village come into view right over here. It's still behind this mountain. Or this ridge. We should start seeing it come into view here shortly. Yeah, it's over there. That's not it. There it is. Okay. It's just perched on the edge of a mountain. It's going to increase our rate of descent now that we're clear of the ridge. Extend this just a bit, and then we'll turn later. I don't want to take us down any faster because then we build up more speed. We do have to throttle down at idle, or close to it anyway. Start our turn back to the west side of the valley. The autopilot will be leveling us off at 10,500. If you should have to go around, you need to make that decision here really, really early. If you miss the turn, if your speed is too high at the turn to final, you just abort and you go. You either leave out the north end of the valley or the south end. Preferably the south end because it gets lower going south. If you go to the north, you need to be able to climb. Let's go ahead and kick out flaps, get the gear down, to increase our drag. Sit up in our seat a bit. But if you do it all right, you should not need to go around. Mainly I want to make sure the speed is good. Start losing some altitude. Start making my turn. Okay, gears down. Let's get the flaps out to landing. Alright, so we are full flaps. Trim the nose down. And if you do it right, you don't even need brakes to get stopped, or at least to get down to walking speed at the top. You'll lose all of your rolling speed just from the uphill gradient. When you land though, you're going to be landing at about 500 feet a minute climb rate. It's kind of weird. Even hit the brake shot. Almost down to taxi speed. Just a little tap on the brakes. You're in my way. I don't care, I'm going in anyway. So we'll just park in this loading spot here. Turn the parking brake back on. Turn the engine off. I forgot to turn on the landing light. Silly me. Turn those off. Basically just get everything shut down. And out in front of us, that is Mount Everest. That is a majestic mountain, to be sure. So, welcome to Lukla. It's a fun little practice airport. The margin for error is kind of small, but it is definitely entertaining. Hope that helps. Good luck to you.